Welcome to WT360 headquarters from Warp 5 Weather Center and the real Captain Kirk. Hi everyone, welcome to Captain's Vlog. I'm Ron Hyde, Senior VP of Marketing out here on the West Coast for Weather Trends International. Joining me, our esteemed CEO, Captain Bill Kirk, the real Captain Kirk, at our corporate headquarters in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Captain Kirk, here on the West Coast, we are getting hammered relentlessly by this rain.
You're getting the kind of rain I got as a kid growing up in Hawaii. So again, grew up there and got my nice Hawaiian shirt on today. Only 7.67 inches of rain in Honolulu, Hawaii, way below average. You in Sacramento, 29.12 inches since October. So pretty epic, off the charts for you. So wholesale change. This map shows you kind of all that rain and snowpack is just pretty epic around California. If we add up all that rain and water since October, your state since October weighs 952 trillion pounds more than you did 5-6 months ago. So a lot of weight sitting there in California. We'll make sure we did all the crazy math. If we did this in Sacramento, so again, your rainfall really is off the charts here. And just trust me here when we do the math. If we're to quantify this for you, there's about 423 billion pounds of water that has fallen inside the city limits of Sacramento here so far this season. If we add that up, that's about 33, the weight of that's about 33 Hoover Dams. It's about 106 million cars of weight. Each car is about 2 tons, and about 3-point-something billion people weight inside the city limits of Sacramento. Just the water that you've had this year. So that's a lot of weight on the state. If we look at the Sierra snowpack, this is kind of showing you the Sierra snowpack here. Pretty epic, obviously getting close, 79% above average. Apply some of those same rules of thumb in math, we end up with about 117.4 trillion pounds of weight from all that snow. That's about equivalent of about 40 inches of water every single square mile across the Sierra. So that's a ton of weight sitting there in this. So again, that's about 857 billion humans or 29 billion cars. So there's a ton of weight sitting up there. All that's going to melt here come this spring, and that's potentially disastrous for more flooding downstream. So again, lots of challenges for you out there in the left coast.
All we've been hearing on TV these days, the atmospheric river. The atmospheric river. What exactly is the atmospheric river?
Yeah, well here's the atmospheric river. So basically, it's not really the Pineapple Connection, Hawaii, which is kind of what you usually hear. And I'm not a fan of these atmospheric river, polar vortexes, arc storms, kind of sensationalism, but I get it. But if we just figure out what's happening here, basically, it's more of the Philippines connection, Malaysia connection. This area has been very warm and wet here October through February, so lots of juicy moisture out here. So you got a little bit of a Pacific jet stream that's going perpendicular right into California, up and over this high. Remember the discussions years ago about the blob? Well, that was warm water. Now it's colder water, much colder than last year across the west coast of the United States. Bring in and over here in Siberia, where it's been the coldest, driest in 7 years, and all that cold there with the polar jet stream coming down into California. So the two are kind of merging right here, and you're getting perpendicular to those 10 to 14,000 foot mountains. Take the air straight up, and you get epic rainfall and snowfall in California. So again, it's just kind of, this is your river, if you will, between the merging of those two jet streams across California. If we look at, again, these are some of the statistics here. East Siberia has been dry. So if we look around the globe here, Alaska's been the driest in 26 years. High pressure, dry. Hawaii, slightly below average. The only wet spot's really been the Philippines and California. So your moisture sources, we're arguing, is out here in the Philippines. If we look at your 120 plus years of rainfall, state level rainfall things, the concern we have here is that this is probably going to end. It's very rare to have 3 years in a row of very wet weather in California. You've had 2. So there's about a 69% chance statistically that you're going to have a dry season going forward. Now, occasionally you do get 3 or 4 or 5 wet years in a row. That's only happened a few times in 125 years. So the odds are strongly in favor of a pretty dry season starting probably next season.
We weather guys love our facts and figures and statistics. How about some fun facts on record rainfall and snowfall?
Some of these, you're approaching some of these snowfall records, that's for sure. The record snowfall, we're not quite there yet, is 1,140 inches up in Washington back in the 99 time frame. The greatest snow depth actually was in your state, 451 inches, single day of the highest level of snowfall, 451 inches up here in California. The single biggest event was 76 inches in Colorado. That's a record 24-hour event. Some of these rainfall records are just staggering, so you're not there yet. I've experienced 200-300 inches of rain in Hawaii. But 905 inches, I can't even fathom that. That was in India back in 1861. The U.S. record is actually, again, in Hawaii. 451 inches was the greatest U.S. rainfall record in 1 year. Then you go to places like Chile where they had no rain for 14 years. So I know you think you had it bad in California through your last drought, but you got some rain. Chile went 14 years with no rain. If we quantify these even further, it's just amazing when you add up all the data here. It's pretty staggering. There's about 241 trillion gallons of water that falls from the heavens every single day across this planet. 241 trillion gallons. That 1 day of rainfall, if we could capture all that, could feed, drink 7.3 billion humans for a better part of 178 years. So a lot of water out there. We just got to get it in the right places or learn how to capture it better. 1 year of that world rainfall that falls would allow us to drink for about 64,000 years. Oceans have about 352 trillion times a billion gallons, more than the numbers would allow us to fit on here. So in theory, if we could figure out how to desalinate the oceans real quick, we got about 67 million years of water sitting in those oceans. So a lot of water out there.
And finally, Captain Kirk, I'm living in earthquake country out here. All this moisture and wetness and water the last few months, will it have any impact on future earthquakes?
Earthquakes, yeah, no. Again, as a meteorologist, I'm a degreed meteorologist. People think I'm a seismologist, the astronomer, astronomist. I think I know all those things, but so I'm not a seismologist. But the research does suggest that if you think about it, you've made California so much heavier, than you used to be just 6 months ago. And then you're going to release all this water here in the next 4, 5, 6 months as it dries out. So there is some research that says that weight in certain areas after epic rainfalls and snowfalls can create earthquakes months or year or two down the road. There's other theories that say in India that it loosens up all the faults. So if you it takes a long time for all this water to reach down for tens of miles into the ground, but as it goes into those crevices and those fault zones, in theory, it makes them more slippery, if you will. So there is some research that suggests that. So something to watch here in the next few years.
Well, Captain Kirk, we appreciate your analysis, your insight, and those fun facts. And to our viewers, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time on Captain's Vlog.